I tested Adobe's best-in-class speech enhancement AI against every level of audio quality, from near perfect audio in a sound-treated studio to absolute audio hell, recording in front of an active construction site using the built-in microphone on my iPhone. We're going to test everything in between to find the limits of AI speech enhancement and so that you can hear exactly what speech enhancement sounds like in real-world scenarios and with different microphones. I'm primarily testing Adobe Podcast speech enhancement because this is the highest quality speech enhancement available in Adobe's ecosystem. There's also speech enhancement inside of Premiere Pro with the same name. Confusingly though, these things are very different. Adobe Podcast runs in the cloud and use powerful servers, whereas Premiere Pro audio enhancement has been optimized to run on your piece of crap laptop. Since I know you want to hear what that sounds like, here's a clip that shows the difference between them. I've got some authentic industrial machinery running right now, and I'm using a lav mic, so you can hear what that all sounds like when this machine is running, and I'm using a microphone that's pretty far away from my mouth. It's got fans and lasers. Since we can see that Adobe Podcast is clearly the superior option, we're just going to be using that to test with from now on. Let's begin the test with... I'm here on location in front of a tree, but oh no, I forgot my regular microphone. All I have on me are these pair of AirPods. Okay, I was a little suspicious when I first saw this clip because you'll notice if you kind of rewind a little bit, there's a section where I turn back towards the tree and the audio changes, which led me to believe that this wasn't actually being recorded with my AirPods. Instead, it was using the external mic of my iPhone. So I did some digging online, and it turns out that yes, in fact, when you're using the default camera app on your iPhone, it will not use your AirPods for their audio. What up? I'm in front of a dumpster, and I am confirmed to be using the AirPods as the audio input now. It turns out that the regular iPhone camera app will just simply default to using the iPhone's internal microphone. So I had to download the Blackmagic camera app so that I could actually choose what microphone it's using. Okay, that blows my mind at how good that is. I mean, maybe it's because the AirPods themselves, even though they sound like they're underwater without speech enhancement, they isolate and are very consistent with the distance between where the actual speaker input is and your mouth. And so the speech enhancement probably is working well because it has a very consistent level to work with. What up? It's me again in front of a couple new dumpsters, and I'm a YouTube video editor, and the thing that I hate the most is finding B-roll. Such a pain, and it takes so long. It's so boring. So, I'm a nerd, and I decided to just what if I could just make a plugin that did that for me? Used AI to search stock video sites, understand my video, pick them for me, download it, insert it, do all of that. And that's exactly what I built. It's called BuzzRolls, and it's awesome. Saves me a ton of time. Go check it out. It's at buzzrolls.com. All right, back to the video. I'm in a sound-treated studio with a pretty good quality condenser mic, and you shouldn't really need any kind of speech enhancement for this, but maybe, I don't know, maybe the person you're interviewing, they're looking around, they're not keeping their mouth close to the microphone, they're kind of doing it in, and then they do it out, and maybe you might want to use speech enhancement for that. Okay, interesting. So I wasn't really expecting that the audio could be enhanced even further if you're already using a good quality microphone, but I mean, yeah, in this case, my voice sounds a little bit less kind of tinny. It's kind of like if somebody went in and they started messing with the EQ values to kind of get a more satisfying sound of the voice. And yeah, interestingly, it didn't help out with the varying levels. So if the person is looking away from the microphone, it doesn't seem to totally help with that. But I guess that maybe makes it sound more natural also at the same time. I'm here on location in a generic industrial warehouse. There's a drill press over here. And there's no soundproofing in this room. It's probably kind of echoey. Okay, so the interesting thing I'm noticing here is that the audio enhancement is basically exactly the same as if I was in that studio. And I think that there's no real echo even without voice enhancement on there. I just think that condenser mic that I was using is very directional. It only took in input from above the top of the speaker. Oh no, I turned the gain all the way up on the microphone, so now it should sound horrifically bad. So this would either happen if you manually rotate a gain dial, if you have something like that, or if you have a lav mic or something that you're just yelling into and you're causing it to clip at the top. Wow, okay, that worked surprisingly well. Before I did these tests, I had suspected that if you were clipping your audio really badly, it wouldn't really be able to fix that, but clearly I was wrong. That's seemingly one of the better use cases for this thing. Well, I decided I didn't want to carry around that heavy little condenser mic anymore, so I pulled out my wired lav mic. It's just via USB connected to my iPhone right now, but it sure is getting hot in here. Be great if we could get some cooling. Good thing we have a loud swamp cooler. We can turn that on right now, and I'll just keep talking for a little bit longer so you can hear what this sounds like with a swamp cooler running. Ooh, and in fact, I can just direct the camera at the swamp cooler. Look, there it is. I think in this case, the background removal feature of the speech enhancement is working extremely well. The voice enhancement is not nearly as good as when I was using a condenser mic and then getting that improved. But I mean, the audio quality is still pretty good, even just with a kind of, this is a pretty crappy lav mic, by the way. I think it was like a $15 or $20 lav mic off of Amazon. It's selfie time, baby. I got my lav mic on again, but I'm getting pretty hot. So I'm gonna turn on this industrial fan that's gonna blow right on me. That should be pretty loud, huh? Yeah, that's max volume right now. I did remember the little plosive screen, the little windscreen for this thing, but just for reference and record, I'm gonna take it off now. Whoop! So now it's off and we can hear what that sounds like. Turn on the audio enhancement and see how that sounds now. It should sound pretty good, I'd imagine. Okay, well, I guess I'm not hugely surprised about this, but the background removal is doing really well with taking out wind noise, which I suppose makes a lot of sense. You'd imagine that the Adobe engineers are trying to optimize their speech enhancement for something, and what they want to optimize it for would be the most common things that people would run into or the most common use cases. And I think that removing wind noise would be up there with the highest and most valuable use case for them. For the sake of testing, I brought back out the condenser mic because I wanted to hear what this sounded like using this mega industrial fan. I don't have any kind of a windscreen or anything on it, so we'll see what that sounds like when we turn on the speech enhancement. Okay, so yet again, like I was saying earlier, how that condenser mic is directionally getting inputs from seemingly just the top. You can basically barely hear that fan. I mean, it's there, but it's really subtle. I decided using a lav mic was just too much effort, so now I'm just using the built-in microphone on my iPhone. But some jerk just turned on a vacuum cleaner, so it should sound pretty bad right now. I'm just gonna keep talking because I'm gonna turn on the speech enhancement, and they're now bringing it. They're bringing the nozzle right up. They're bringing the nozzle right up to where the microphone is. What a jerk! What a jerk! Okay, so interesting. I guess first thing I'll say, I actually don't mind the sound of just the iPhone internal mic when it's, selfie distance away from you. I think that actually sounds pretty okay. It sounds very like almost realistic to me. And it's not like, doesn't sound satisfying like studio audio does, but in any case, and same thing as earlier, the speech enhancement is doing a pretty good job getting rid of the background noise, but it doesn't really it's not gonna fix my voice on top of a vacuum cleaner. Like, it's almost like you just got rid of the background and you still have that same voice volume and audio quality. It doesn't really seem to improve. In fact, it kind of makes just the straight internal mic audio of the iPhone kind of worse, actually. I wanted to test, maybe your next door neighbor started testing your sound system as you were recording a video. Man, that would sure suck. So I'll just keep talking about something as I go, and I'm gonna turn it all the way up. This is really loud. So you'll notice in this clip that there is something going on. There's some kind of, maybe it's on it has to be on the iPhone side, I guess, but you can hear that the sound of my voice also changes. It starts kind of sounding like it gets gargly or kind of like clicky, it's probably just clipping. The iPhone is probably dynamically changing the levels. I mean, they do so much stuff automatically on there, and sometimes it's hard to identify what behavior is just natural and what of it is because the iPhone is doing weird crap. Boom, we're in a racetrack and they're speeding by. This is you're on your town's boulevard, and now we're gonna head off to dance night. I'm feeling pretty spicy right about now. I don't know about you, but we got our shoes on. We're feeling good. Yeah, so you could really hear that clipping or whatever it's doing to my voice to make it sound really odd and awkward. But again, got rid of the background noise really well and even did the music. I was wondering whether or not it would be able to do music, but Seemingly it has no problem with that. This test is to simulate what it sounds like if maybe there was somebody else that's talking in the background. Hopefully I'm a little bit louder than this guy here giving his Panda Express review. I don't know how the system is going to react to having multiple people talking at the same time. I'm going to go ahead and start turning it up so that we can hear what it sounds like when it's louder. And it might be about the same loudness as my voice. We're going to hear what that sounds like. It's kind of hard to think about what you're talking about when there's a guy talking about orange chicken but right behind you. Yeah, so it does a really good job getting rid of that guy's background voice. And by the way, when I was recording these, that guy's voice was almost like it sounded to my ears to be as loud as what the sound of my voice was, but the microphone hears different things than what we hear. So I kind of wish that I would have played his voice a little bit louder, but oh well. All right, I'm out on a field trip here. I found an authentic construction site. They're jackhammering away. It's super noisy, but this will be a great test to see how well the video enhancement software works. I don't even know if you can hear me right now. It's so loud. I'm just using the iPhone's built-in microphone. There's no way this is gonna work. It is so loud. Okay, so when I took that video, it was so loud that I could barely hear myself talk. I mean, that was easily hearing damage level audio out there. The iPhone must be doing some voice isolation already, just by default, because like even the original audio didn't sound horrible. I mean, it gave a reasonable representation of what the audio sounded like in the real world, but still allowing you to hear these different elements. I kind of wish that I had an opportunity to try out like a lav mic in that scenario because I think that would have sounded honestly way worse. So yeah, the speech enhancement, I mean, it got rid of the background audio very effectively. It basically just kept my voice almost the same, like slight improvement, but added in some glitches and whatnot.